Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela, I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and I'd like to welcome you back to Whips, Bits and Chat number 94. Come on, let's go see what I've got in store for you today. So, of course, first up we have got our video roundup. So, what did I put out for you this week? It wasn't too slack now, was it? I'm quite impressed looking back. We, of course, had the shopping card and making supplies. That was out on the 24th. Then we had our Stitch a Week on the Tuesday. And this time round, it was the C2C Mini. Now, I believe I do say in there, weigh your yarn prior to starting this and when you finished it, so that you know how much yarn a 100 square block will take, so that when it comes to doing the winner only patterns, you can then work out quite easily how much yarn you're going to need to complete that project. Because of course with the winner only patterns there is no information on how much yarn you're going to need, because I haven't made them myself, so I don't know. And I'm not going to sit there and do the math either, because our individual tension, hook size and yarn choices will all make quite a large difference as to how much yarn you're going to need. Right, so let's get back to the video roundup, shall we? The next one out was the yarn review, which was the Colton Simply Soft. Now this one is quite popular over in the US, I believe, and quite expensive over here in the UK, so it's not one that you will probably see me purchasing anytime soon, just solely because I'm not paying that much for 150 grams. Right, then of course we had our two lives this week. The first one up was called Good Night Meatloaf, and of course that was me talking about our gorgeous Meatloaf and how we lost him last week, and of course we were all chatting about our favourite songs and other bits and pieces, as well of course the competitions later on in the video. And then we had a daytime, a crazy time, which was the last chance to get hold of this month's winner only pattern, unless of course you'd entered any of the online competitions. That was really lovely. I'd found something quite interesting that I was sharing with you guys in regards to different phrases that are not really getting used that often anymore, or at least according to the news report it wasn't, but according to us lot we still use quite a few of them. So pop over, there's a 9 in there that I spoke about on the Wednesday. Right, that's pretty much it for the videos, so let's pop on to the next item. All the videos that I just mentioned will of course be up here on the I button. Right, so now it is time for my completed whips. What have I been up to this week? Okay, first one up of course is the C2C Mini. Okay, that is the video that went up this week for a Stitch a Week. I'm a bit cheeky here, I've actually done up to video number 7 and uploaded up to number 7. And the second item I have finally finished is of course that blanket that I've been telling you about during the lives, and also showed you a little sneaky peek of it earlier on in the week. Is finally finished. I'm just in the process of writing up the pattern now, or at least I will be once I fix this computer. My Word doesn't want to play. We've updated it, and there is a rogue file somewhere, so that every time we open Word it seems to think it's 2019. Don't we all wish it was still 2019? But don't panic, I will get the pattern written up as soon as possible. It shouldn't take me too long. I have most of the parts already done. But come on, let's go and have a look at the photo. I absolutely love it. Right, so included in the written pattern over on the Ravelry shop, okay, what you get in this pattern is not just a chart, it is, right, you get your graph, okay, so that is a coloured graph numbered all the way up the side and along the bottom, so that you've got a visual there if you want to mark it off as you go along. You also have, of course, your key to tell you which colours and what the names, the letter symbol mean within the written pattern. The written pattern is in box counts, so each number, say it says 4 and a BLK, that means that is 4 blocks of black. Okay, it's really simple. I've done it as easily and as simply as I can. If I can understand it, anyone can. You also will get your list of items that you need and how much yarn you're going to need if you're following along using the same yarn weight as me. There is also a section within the pattern that gives you the maths on how to change up the amount of yarn that you'll need, or should I say work out the amount of yarn you'll need if you are changing it from a DK weight yarn, or of course if you're changing your hook size or the stitch. Okay, so there's that little section in there. There is also a breakdown on terms, so you've got it written, a little box that says UK and US, but the written section on the pattern explaining how to do the box is actually written in American, so if you prefer to work in English, you're gonna have to swap the letters around a bit. There is also the a chart to show you how to do the C2C as an increase, and of course a bit further on you have the chart that is for the decrease as well. Okay, and then of course you get into the written pattern, and that is where it starts and goes on and on and on. I will also be placing on the first page information on what pages you physically need to print out if you've done a corner to corner before. Of course you're only going to want the instructions for the box counts section, so I'll make sure that that is on separate pages, so that you only need to print off the pages that you physically need to print off if that's how you prefer it. But if not, it comes in a PDF anyway, which means that you can pop it on your computer, you can pop it on your tablet, or you can even have it up on your phone and work along that way. So what do you think? Do you like him? If you want to get your hands on Timothy the Tiger, then pop over to the Ravelry shop. The information will be hopefully in the drop down box here, or of course there will be a link on the end screen and in the description box down below. That will take you straight over to the Ravelry page that you want, so that then you can possibly purchase it if you fancy it. Right, let's get on with the next bit. Right, so now it is my favourite part of the video, part one, is your photographs. Now, I am loving the fact that we are getting a good few of you are joining in now on the Stitch a Week. There is, I think, 5 of you. Yay! Okay, so our very first photograph up today is from a Crafty Snail Mum. Okay, now she did in fact fire me off a photograph last week with her first 3 squares, but that arrived to me once I'd uploaded my whips, bits and chat. Oh, so I had to hold on to it till this week so that I could pop it in. So the second photograph that you'll see in this set is also from her. I just forgot to put the tag on the bottom. It's all using the same size hook and the same size yarn as well. Okay, now be warned, you're gonna need your sunglasses with these ones because this yarn is bright. Now it's time for the photographs from the other 4 girls that were with us, of course, last week. That is our Sabrina Melody, our Knitting Purple, our Sarah, and of course our Smirnoff. Smirnoff's not her channel name, Smirnoff's just what I call her. Come on, let's go and have a look. We had a little guest in the garden on Friday morning. It was so cute. We had a squirrel. We're quite lucky. We've got, of course, fields and things near us, but I've never ever seen a squirrel in our garden before, and we've been here over 4 years now. It may be the fact that we don't have trees, it may have been the fact that we had a cat. It could have been quite a few different reasons, but my neighbour, who has trees on the back of her property, posted up on her Facebook page that she had squirrels in the end of her garden and she was watching them. And I'm thinking, that's only 10 yards. If that is not that far away from my garden, please visit. And they did. Well, one did. It popped in, as I said, this morning, came right up to the back door and had a nose and had a look in. And Liam was laying on the sofa and I've gone, oh, hello, cutie. He's looked at me because he's realised I'm not saying hello to him, looked at the window and pegged it towards the door, and like the patio doors. But luckily stopped, it didn't headbutt, but he ran, and of course because he ran at it at the window, it sort of run off to one side a bit, and he did a bark, and I was like, got down really quick with him and was like, shh, quiet, quiet. So he went quiet. There was like a low growl. But he just wanted to get out there and say hello, and he was bouncing on his back paws, like proper prancing like a horse, like let me out, let me out. And I didn't. I waited until the squirrel had gone, but he basically sat down by the door in the end and was watching the squirrel run around the little patch of garden that we have, and then up and over the fence, and then it ran up, back up, and over the neighbour's garage, so it sort of over the roof. And so then it had headed off, and he was like sitting there quite depressed, so I gave it about 10 minutes to make sure it didn't want to come back, and then let Liam out so he had a sniff to pick up the new squirrel smell that was in the garden. But it was really lovely to see something other than blackbirds, and I'm really hopeful that it's going to come back and visit more often, and then maybe we might get a little picture of a Liam hugging a squirrel. Nicely, mind. I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk taking him out with a wild squirrel out there if I thought he was going to try and hurt it in any way, shape or form. He's just really inquisitive and likes to hug things. Honestly, proper cuddles. Now it's time for all these little mini competitions that I've got going. Now these are all, of course, for a copy of No Strings, this month's winner only pattern. Now I had one going up over on Instagram and a couple over here on YouTube, so now I've got to go and watch all my other videos and work out which ones had what on. But congratulations, we have our Instagram winner, and that is, oh, I can't pronounce her Instagram name, this one here, but it is our Deanne. So congratulations, Deanne. Hopefully you have read your messages over on Instagram, or at least pop back and had a nose to see who had won by the time this video is out. And of course you have until the 4th to claim. So congratulations, darling. And now I'm going to go and see who else has won what on what video. Deanne didn't need until the 4th. I'd sent her the message, and within about 3 minutes she responded, yay, pattern's out the door. Okay, so the first draw up was off of the Whips, Bits and Chat 93. 3, which had the word competition enclosed on it. Now there was 11 responses to that. Now because there is such a small group, rather than setting up the camera and everything else, I know that the small group of people that have entered, trust me, thankfully. So what I did was I popped it through the random comment picker, and the first name out is this person here. And how chuffed was I not to have to re-pick it, because at least half of the comments were from people that had also won the pattern throughout the month. But of course, where I'd started it off early, it meant that you all had the equal chance. It was just whether you managed to get to a live or not. So congratulations to our Mrs. Bradshaw. Remember, honey, you have a week to claim. Right, so our very first winner off of the very first live of 2022 is Rita. Congratulations, darling. There's your channel name there, just in case I got it wrong. Yep, so if you could read the description box down below on how to claim your prize. Of course, you have a week to claim it. Now let's get on and see who else is gonna win. And the last winner, oh my gosh, you got in there just in time, girl. Alright, the last video was, of course, Daytime, A Crazy Time and Last Chance video. And our one and only entry on that one was from Terry. And I had asked in that video if there were any phrases that your parents, grandparents used that you either do or don't still use. Okay, and her response was that she still uses a lot of them. She learnt most from her grandparents. The other one that she hears all the time is Jesus, Mary, Joseph and the wee donkey. I love that one. Right, so congratulations, Terry. You of course have won a copy of this pattern as well. Now there were a few more draws throughout this month, but of course I've got my little list of everybody who has now won the pattern. So I was going through the comments on each video to check to see whether I'd had any extra entries and if those extra entries had also won the pattern, and they had. So it was severely slim pickings, to the point the two winners that are there are the only two that were on the video that didn't have the pattern anyway. So remember, always have a watch through on the lives, and always pop a comment underneath, because you never know, you may win. Just remember that if you are popping a comment underneath and you're after that pattern, like the pattern that's coming up, make sure you watch the video to see if there is anything extra you need to do, like a code word or something else, because I may throw that in or I may not. It just depends on if I remember to during the live. Right, now crazies, it's time to hedge your bets. Who do you think out of those 20 winners is going to be the first one to fire me off a photograph of the finished no strings pattern? Pop your guess in the description box below. Yes, it is for a bit of fun, because I know it's going to take them quite a while to get through the pattern, so we may not find out for a few months, probably about 4. Right, that is it for me for today. I've got to get this computer fixed so that I can get that pattern written up. I only need to add the photo. Right, so I'm going to head off now. I will see you all really soon. If you can, please stay in. Definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.